So this is basically where we left off last week. We created the Facebook page for our business, and I looked at certain aspects of, what really needs to be in the page. For example, choosing the best template, how to put a cover page and a profile picture, all these things, we looked at. Now what I want to do is, go into the next steps of, the business suite and all these things. Right. For that, of course, we'll have to look at the Facebook page itself. So what I'll do is this for now. All right. So this is basically our page from last week, Christo's Spice World. All right. So looking at what I have to cover today, business suite and ads manager, I'll cover later on. For that, first of all, let's look at, how to create a post, and then, how to boost it there itself. Then let's go into what you call ads as well. Right? So I've downloaded a picture just for this, right? So basically, to create a post, there are a few options. Whether it's pretty simple. If you have Facebook, it's pretty much the simple same layout that they have put on for the business pages as well, because as I said last week, they don't want to make it more complex. If it's complex, people don't come into this platform for to do business. And if they don't have businesses on Facebook, they are going to lose money, because 100% of their profit comes from ads on Facebook. Facebook is free of charge. How they make it free of charge, there's a huge platform cost that goes in the back end to keep Facebook up and running. So how they find money to run that business, as well as pay the employees of Facebook, all these things is done through Facebook ad revenue. And if they don't get new advertisers on the platform, it's going to be hard for them to make money, because the more you have advertisers, the more competitive that niche would be. The more competitive the niche, or we call the segment, when it's when more people are selling the same kind of products, the advertising revenue goes up for them, because Facebook has a what you call a bid to win process. So let's say Arva is selling custom made jewelry. So if I come to the same market and I also start Achinta's handmade jewelry, if we are both running advertisements on Facebook, earlier if it was just Arva, whenever she wanted the advertisement to go, it would go on Facebook for the lowest possible cost. But if I also come into the same like market segment, and I also want to advertise, now there are two players in the market. Now what Facebook would do is they would start a bidding war between my ads and Arva's ads, because we are in the same market. And what will happen is whoever has the higher buying power at that time would get their ads on Facebook. But now what would happen is Arva's advertisement would cost a bit more, because now she's not alone. I'm also in the market. So what Facebook does is, make us fight for the ads, and whoever buys the ad at that point will get their ad on Facebook, right? So how we create a post is very easy. We'll just name it Sri Lankan Spices, right? So I did download a picture for this. All right, so we'll say Sri Lankan spices, and we'll put a post there. And if you saw in the post itself, now that I've posted the post, I can't do it. So let me delete the post and show you again. Right. So when you're posting it itself, you can have certain actions, or we call it call to actions done. If we have WhatsApp connected, we can easily get WhatsApp messages straight from Facebook to our WhatsApp business if we have WhatsApp business connected. As I earlier last week also I suggested, if you are running a business, we need to have WhatsApp business connected nowadays, because Facebook and WhatsApp are integrated fully because they are owned by the same Facebook group. So what you call data interchange and all these things are very easy, right? You can easily connect your WhatsApp here, and you can directly get a WhatsApp message. If someone clicks on it, you can get started with the client straight away. Then you can have a get message also. So if you do this, pretty much they will add the button here. Now, if I try to connect WhatsApp, what will happen is, as you can see, it's asking me to connect WhatsApp. That I'm not going to do. So I can very easily have the send message button, the messenger message I can send. There are other options as well. You can get calls if you connect your number. All this, basic, not so basic, but advanced features, because no one pretty much does these things. When you're doing Facebook marketing and all these things, you have to be update. You have to be moving forward with the platform itself, because Facebook itself would change certain things time to time so that they are updated on the latest trends as well. So these things, earlier it was for what you call ads only. Now they've brought it to the normal posts as well, so that businesses can take their businesses to the next level with Facebook itself, right? So let's leave a send message button there, and we'll post it, right? So the next thing I want to talk about today is, boosting the post. So as I said, by default, if you create the page, you will be what you call the admin of the page, and you can add people as admins, editors, moderators, or advertisers. That is up to you to do it. But given the situation, let's say you are the admin, then you can very easily, if you can see here, you can see that we have the boost post button here. So this button is how Facebook gets you started on advertising when you are starting out. Advanced marketing and that business suits, ads manager, they come later on in the piece. But getting you to boost your first post would be Facebook's first priority, because when you boost a post, of course your page and the post will be visible to whoever you open it out to. When that happens, of course you will get more inquiries and more coverage. We call it reach. In the industry, we call it reach. So if you boost a post, you get paid reach. And if it's organic, or with like people sharing it on their own, all this, if people comment on it, if people like your post and all these things, what will happen is the organic reach will be higher. So when you're running a business, both parts are equally important. Getting organic reach is also important, as well as getting some paid reach is also important, because not all the organic reach will convert to business. But if you have paid reach, you have a better chance of getting those, you can make use of that reach much more than the organic reach. If you take pages like, let's say, there are a lot of, fan pages or joke pages in, Facebook at the moment, sharing funny videos, political videos, all these things. For them, they are not trying to boost a post. It's all about getting the organic reach. For example, if Vasti had a page on Facebook, they would rely 100% on the organic reach to get their videos out there into the population, right? But for companies like Christo, it's also important that you have that organic reach, as well as you need to get some paid reach in there as well. So let's go in and see what you get when you try to boost a post. So right underneath the post would be the button to boost a post. So it would be boosting this picture and this post. So let's see what are the options. Right. So when you come to this is called the ads manager, the basic ad view, right? So when you're trying to boost a post, there are certain things you can do when you're boosting a post. It is quite different from when you run a complete ad. This is the main thing that is, you have to understand. Boosting a post, you have a bit of limited capabilities compared to running a ad itself, right? And first of all, you need to understand where your money is going to go out from. This is very important, because boosting a post or running ads both cost you money. Money is taken out from your account or your credit card or your debit card as US dollars, right? So given the situation of the country, US dollars are running around 220 in the black market, 200 in the official books. But then again, there are transaction charges, all these things that are hidden charges. So when you're running ads, you have to be careful, because a lot of money, even if it's $1, $2, it will be quite costly to run ads. So when you run an ad, you have to make sure that you get some sort of conversion when you run an ad. You just for the sake of running ads, you should not run ads. Even if you're running ads for another company, make sure you have some sort of ROI, because it's somebody's money that you're spending out, right? So here would be the place on the top right hand corner. It says ad account. In the ad account is the place where you are going to have your different ad accounts, and you can select your ad account to run the ad, and money would go from here. Okay, so let's see. For me, this is my personal ad account, right? Atinja Dayasekara is my personal ad account, my personal page, my personal ad account. This is by default selected because this is the one that I use to create this page, and it is not shared with any other business suite, right? So personal ad account. This would be, if you don't have any other connections for any other ad accounts, you will not see any other like this, any other selectable ad accounts like these. If you're just starting out, you would only have your personal ad account. And these are two companies that I was previously working with. These three ad accounts belong to them. Edulink is my current employer, right? And local book sales is one of my friends ad accounts. I'm running some ads for her book, Cheat Sheets for Life. That's a good book to read, and we are running some ads. I'm helping her out in that also. So I'm getting access to her ad account, right? So by default, as I said, my personal one is selected. I'll select that one. I'm not going to run the ad, but then again, I'll show you the process. So that is number one, selecting the correct ad account. You do not want to run ads on someone else's ad account for something else. Let's say I mistakenly selected enter ad account to run ads for my personal page here. It would come to their billing then, and they would see where did this ad run from. It is not from our ad account, right? So that would be a violation of their trust, as well as a lawsuit can be filed against me if I run ads for someone else using another person's ad account, right? So you have to be very careful. If you're handling multiple ad accounts, always run ads with the correct ad account. Then let's move on to what is the goal of a advertisement. There are certain different goals that we can have to run an ad. So basically, let's look at what Facebook has given us. By default, it will say automatic. I would not recommend you keeping this on automatic, because this takes a bit of data, because this is the AI, artificial intelligence, that is running here to select the automatic. For them to get a good idea of what's the best for you, it will take some time. If you are running ads for the first time, I would select something else rather than automatic, because automatic would, as I said, it's an artificial intelligence robot there, so it will try to see different options that would not really cater to what you really want. So let's look at what are the options. Okay, as this is Christo's Spice World, right? So these are the three options. Automatic, I would not select it as an option. So there are three other options available. If you go to Ads Manager, you would have much more options, but then again, boosting a post, limited option, pretty much same options on Ads Manager, but then again, you have a bit more flexibility in terms of how you can run the thing. Okay, so first thing is, it says get more engagement. Show your ad to people who are likely to react, comment, and share. Facebook has, since we are waking up with Facebook, we are going to sleep with Facebook. Facebook has a lot of data on us. How are we, selecting posts? How are we liking these things? How are we reacting to these things? How are we, what sort of posts we are looking at more? If you take a look at, the posts that you see, you will be seeing more and more of the people that you are, let's say, liking. If you like a picture of a person, you will see more pictures related to him. If you look at an ad on Facebook, yesterday I was looking at a trimmer. Right now, my Facebook window is filled with trimmers. Right, so it learns as you go. Right, so it has a good understanding of who are the people who are likely to like a post, who are likely to comment on a post, who are likely to react as in put a ha, smiley face, care emoji, all these other reactions. Facebook has a good set of data on each person, what are their behavior, right? Then you have what you call get more messages. Now that we haven't connected WhatsApp still to this page, we can't get WhatsApp messages, but it can prompt a message to go to our WhatsApp message, or what you call Facebook Messenger or Instagram Messenger. If we have what you call a website, we can put a link to that website. After clicking this post, it will go directly to our other website. Right? This is also used by what you call lead generation agencies to get more leads as well. Because then what they do is, they put a post on Facebook, they take them to another site where they do a bit of filtering, and then they get the lead. Lead as in, name, contact numbers, and, emails, so that they could contact those people back and convert them as a client, because they can give more information and get some more, conversions through that. Now, usually you would find another option called get more leads. Now, I think what has happened is we don't have any lead forms in this particular page. Because we don't have lead forms, I think it's not giving us that option. So these are the main three options. So let's select get more messages and save. So now you can see from automatic, it changed to get more messages. Now this is asking, the next one is asking, is it a special category? Special category falls under ads about social issues such as economy, civil and social rights, as well as if you are running ads for a political figure, especially targeted for elections, political figures and political campaigns. You need to register with them, right? To enable this option, if you enable it, right, that means because you will self-declare this would be a what you call a special ad category post. If it was about any social or economical situation that is going on now, or any political ad. For you to run political ads, you need to register with Facebook. Right? When you register with Facebook, whatever ads that you run on this special ad category, they will keep for not 1, not 2, not 3, but 7 years in their systems. If something goes wrong, they can always dig up the evidence of you running ads on all these political and social issues. If you run ads on those, remember they will have records of it for 7 years. So if you run an ad today, it will be there in their systems till 2028. Okay. So because we are not running such an ad, we are not going to enable this. So if it was something like that, you will have to enable it. If you enable it, that will prompt you to register with Facebook. So if you are going to register with Facebook for this, you will have to verify your details. How you are going to verify your details is your Facebook name should be the actual name that is in your identity card or passport, right? So if you have, let's say, for example, Arwa is on Facebook, Arwa Muhammad, if it's matching the passport or the NIC, she can register easily. But if the Facebook name is Arwa Treasure, then she will have to first change the name to the real name, then only she can register, right? Okay, so then next, let's move on. So here you would see the ad preview. When you have an ad, it always shows you different ad previews. Now it's showing the ad, how it would go on this one platform, right? Whenever you run an ad, you will see a small icon that shows sponsored, because this is how we are going, how people would see that this would be a ad in versus a post, because you don't want people to get, Facebook doesn't want people to get misled with post and a advertisement. That is why it is clearly showing that this is a sponsored post, right? So we are trying to boost this picture of the Sri Lankan spices, and the text we had was Sri Lankan spices. So this would be how it would be, and we are trying to get messages. So it will show the send message button. Here you can see all the other previews as well. When you say other previews, there are different options. Desktop news feed, then there's the mobile news feed, there's Messenger, there's Instagram, all these other places where Facebook would run this ad, right? So if you can see, this would be how the ad would go on the desktop itself. Then you would see the mobile news feed. Because this is not a video, in-stream videos will not happen. Facebook in-stream, they would create something for the mobile one, but it would be a static image, a bit of movement, that's it, right? So these are the other places they would have this ad running and the different previews of each of these places. So if you go to Messenger, this is how it would look in the Messenger window itself. You might have seen there are some ads running on Messenger as well. Very low conversion rates, mind you, because people tend to check Messenger for different, communication purposes, not to see ads. So from my experience, Messenger ads are very low conversion rates. So I've actually stopped running. For my personal use, I would not run what you call a Messenger ad. But then again, it's there as a Messenger ad platform. If you want to run an ad on Messenger, you can still do it. So it's still prompting us to connect WhatsApp, right? Okay, so here would be what you call the estimated results. Estimated result is quite important for any advertiser because this would give you a rough figure of what will happen with your ad, right? So this is, basically it will show you payment summary. Your ad will run for 7 days. I'll show you how you can change these things, but this ad basically for the settings that are now, it will run for 7 days and the total budget for the 7 days would be $17, right? So if you do quick maths, you will see $17, assuming the dollar is 200, that's about 3,400 rupees, right? So to run this ad for 1 week, it will cost us around 3,400 rupees. But then again, it will add some tax as well. Close to 4,000 rupees will be spent to run this ad. And the people this ad would reach is on average per day, right? This is the number of people we estimate you reach an audience in a day, right? Facebook estimates, this is an estimate, mind you, it's not a actual figure. This is numbers based on their history and data. They are saying your ad based on the settings, ad settings you have set for now, it will run for 7 days and each day it will show to an audience of 186 to 574 people, right? So with the settings, you can expand it, you can shrink it based on your real need. That is up to you to do it. All right. Here would be the welcome message. Welcome message is when they click the ad, what would they see, right? So it's basically the first steps are automatic. You can get them to run through a automatic process based on how you want to get them engaged, right? When they click, this would be the pop-up text from your end. Hi, please let us know how we can help you. You can also put anything. There's a limit of characters, but then again, you can say, hi, how are you today? We like to help you. We are Christo Spice World. All these things you can put it, and this would be how it would appear on the messenger, because we are going into a messenger chat. Then you can have 3 options, right? So again, this is pre-set by you. You can have any question. Whenever you type this, it will come here, and whenever they click here, it will take to a different, and you will also get, let's say the first person says, I have asked about how can I make a purchase. Then the other person wants more info, and the other one wants info about the business itself, right? So different areas of it being checked, and these are valid questions. You can put whatever questions you want, and you can click save, right? So those would be the questions that would be there, right? So then it comes to target audience. This is where you're going to change all of these things, right? So let's see where it will run. So now by default, it has come to United States, right? So this is not the place we want to run ads. So what you can do is you can close this. When it closes, I don't think you can see this, but you need to have a location. So we'll put Sri Lanka, right? So when you select Sri Lanka, you can see there are other drop-down selections available as well. You can select Sri Lanka, and it will select the whole of Sri Lanka. Now the potential reach is whoever's in Sri Lanka from the ages 18 to 65. Let's see what happens if we target only to 30s. 18 to 30, that potential reach dropped by half. Now it is only 3.6 million. Early it was 7.2 million. Right? So if we select only men, it drops to 2.3 million. If we select only women, we get only 1.3 million. So based on what product and who are your main target audience, you can differentiate who you target to. Let's say it's a specifically a ladies product, right? There are specifically ladies only products, right? So if you're selling certain things, not Christo Spice World, but then again, if it's something to do with specifically only for women, you can target only women, because you will not get men asking for certain women products, right? If it's only for men, let's say, what do you call the sports underwears, right? Men use for lifting weights. Women would not be looking for those, right? So you need to run the ad only for men. So you need to target only men. Here also you can target only areas where you want to do business. If I remember correctly, Christo said he is from Trinco, right? Trinco, somewhere in the northern region. So now by default, we are selected the whole of Sri Lanka. So we can just say northern. Let's select Trincomalee. So we can select Trincomalee. Right? So if it's Trincomalee only, it will only select Trincomalee and a radius of 40 kilometers. Right? So you can increase up to 80 kilometers, and you can have a radius of 17 kilometers to pinpoint a particular area. Okay, so you can also drop a pin. Drop a pin as in you can click this and then drop it to a specific area like that, and also target based on your requirement. Okay, so now from Sri Lanka, it is dropped to what you call Trincomalee. Now the audience from about 2.3 million has dropped to 48,000 people. Here in what you call boosting a post, as I said, only limited features are available. You can do a bit of detailed targeting, right? So here you can, because we are trying to run a spice ad. Let's see spice. Okay, so here in detailed targeting, you would have a bit of targeting only, right? When I say bit of targeting, you can add certain behaviors who like different, who have different interests, all these things. You can browse these as well, right? You can further, like basically filter, right? Based on education level, you can filter, right? Or else you can, financials is not available in Sri Lanka, even though it is mentioned here. In US only, financials are available. Life events, basically, all these marital status, date of birth, you can target based on that. You can basically target, let's say, education workers, all these different people in different industries you can target. Then you have interests, hobbies, activities, all these things you can basically target if you really need more targeting. But the thing is, if you need more targeting, it's better to have a good understanding of who your ideal customer is if you're trying to do this detailed targeting. So what I usually do for Edulink is, if I'm running a MBA ad, I would not show it, like I would show it to people who are interested in education. So I would put here education. I'm not running based on this, but education, I would put education where it will target people who are interested in education. But then again, because I'm running ads through Ads Manager, I have another option to exclude certain audiences as well. This is including, but then again, I have the other option of excluding as well. If it's a MBA ad, I would exclude the people who already have mentioned they have a MBA or a doctorate. Okay, so those people will not see, even though they like pages related to education, they would not see my ads, because Facebook would charge me based on the number of impressions. Impressions is how many times that ad goes up and down through your Facebook home page, right? So I'm not going to target education for this ad because it's not relevant. So relevant detailed targeting can be done. Then you can save the audience. Now you can see it was 186 to 500 something earlier. Now it has changed to 784 to 2,300 people who would reach it. How many people would see it daily. here you can add how many days you're going to run this ad. Okay, whether you can go up, whether you can want more days or less days, but then again, Facebook would ask you to run the ad for at least 4 days so that it can have some better results. Whenever you come to 3 days, this message would come up, ads that run less than 4 days tend to get more results. So they're trying to get you to run the ad for more than 4 days. But then again, if you want only 1 day, you can run for only 1 day. And if you see this, you might see one other change as well. $17 for 7 days. The low end is 784. If you go to 6 days, that actually goes up, right? So what Facebook is basically doing is, for the number of the days that you're trying to run that, they're trying to maximize these $17 that you would be spending, right? So if it's just, let's say 4 days, this would go up to 1,300. The low end is 1,300. So basically what Facebook is planning to do is spend out your $17 in 4 days. So it really needs to spend it on more people, right? That's what is done by Facebook. Now, here is the other place where you can specify how much you are going to spend on your ad. Here it's $17. That's for the whole 4 days that I'm trying to run it. 1,300 people to 3,700 people would see the ad. I could reduce it to, let's say, $10. Right? So if I'm trying to run it for $10, that figure, which was 1,300 to 3,700, now dropped, because now Facebook, in the algorithm, they understand I'm spending less money, so it will show it to less people. Right? For 4 days, the minimum I can spend is $1 a day, right? So for 4 days, $4 would get me only 383 to 1,100 people. You can go up to any amount. You can go up to any amount, that is up to you, but you would see the more you spend, the bigger the reach you will get, right? So just for the argument's sake, I'll leave it at 6. Then it will ask, where are you going to run your ads? Basically, Facebook is by default there, right? So Messenger, it's optional whether you run it or not. On Messenger, it's optional. And if I had an Instagram page connected, it could have Instagram here as well. Okay. And we don't have what you call a Facebook pixel. A pixel is a set of code that tracks the person from your ad to the other place, where there are different types of pixels. Tracking pixels are there, event click pictures are there. All these different types of pixels are there. That is for some other day. It's a lot of, different areas that covers pixels, but basically it's something that tracks you from the ad to the next event. Okay. Then it would ask me payment method. What is the card that I'm going to use? If you don't have any card connected, I have my card connected. That's why it's showing this card last 4 numbers. So if you don't have any card, it will show add a card, right? So these are the basic settings you will get for boosting a post. Any questions up to now? Then only thing is, you need to click boost post now, and it will boost the post. It will take some time because Facebook would, analyze the ad first. They are not going to run the ad straight away, because the main thing is you have not selected this. So they'll analyze the picture, they'll analyze the text, they'll analyze, what the page is based on. And then only they'll run the ad. Probably it takes about anywhere from 1 hour to 1 day to get your ad approved. So basically they check whether you're saying no to a social ad or an election ad. And if you're trying to promote a political person, they will check that, right? So if you, for me, what happened with Sarath Fonseca's event that we had for First Impressions, Sarath Fonseca's picture was on the ads that we were trying to run. And even though it was nothing related to political or politics or anything, we still couldn't run the ad for First Impressions because Facebook was continuously rejecting our ads based on that he was a parliamentarian, right? So we couldn't run ads for that event. So if you have something like that also, your ads will not run as well. Any questions up to now?
Yes, so far, okay. My only thing is when you spoke about the names being used, like say, for example, my passport and all has my maiden name. And what's on Facebook is my married name. So you think I should change it?
No, the only thing is, Arwa, if you're running social ads,
No, not as
you're
such.
not, okay, you're not
I
running.
was running, but the thing is, my husband's the one who does the card payment. His card is attached. So that shouldn't matter then, no?
Yeah. Only thing is, if you're, let's say you're running ads for a political figure or
Okay.
a social, economic, or civil, rights issue that is brewing at the moment, right?
Okay.
If you're not running for those, you don't need to do anything.
Okay. This is nothing of the sort. This is just for my business if I have to. So then also it
Your
doesn't matter
business,
then, right?
yeah, that doesn't matter. Only thing is, for me, what happened was I had to run ads for a political person, right?
Okay.
Before Edulink, I ran ads for some political person, and I was not able to run because my Facebook name at that time, when I created Facebook back in 2009, I created as Infinite Achinta, right?
Okay.
So Facebook was like, well, Infinite Achinta is on your Facebook and your passport says Achinta Jayasekar. And this doesn't match. So I had to change it to Achinta Jayasekar. Now I'm back to plain old Achinta Jayasekar on Facebook. Right?
Right.
So that's why this, if you're only running ads on this special ad category only, you need to register with Facebook.
Okay. I don't think I'll ever fit into that category.
You can do
I'm
whatever.
okay.
Right?
Okay.
All right. Do you run ads on Facebook?
No, I actually don't. I had last year a bit, but then I really didn't like the outcome, like, I mean, you had just people who were time wasters basically coming and messaging and things like that. So I was better off without that, I would say. Even on Instagram, it's the same thing because right now everyone's just comparing prices and then, they start haggling and things like that. And they don't understand what is the intricacy of the thing. So, yeah.
There, what you can do, next I will cover lead ads, right? So for the lead ad also, I'll go into
but as you mentioned about these filters, like, these categories to decide on and things, I have been doing that. Like, I target mainly people between 30 and 60 because they're the ones who mainly use and are able to spend on these kind of things because they have the spending power. So, all those things. And like on Instagram also, you have those selection options on, like the age group.
Yes, all these are filters to, show your ad ROI, right? So the lead format, it's a bit different. It's not shown here, right? If you're trying to boost a post straight away, it's not shown here. But a lead form is much more effective than getting what you call a message. Are you there, Arwa? All right, so let's move back. I'm not going to run this ad now. So, okay, so as I was saying, if we need more conversions, one of the best places to get more conversions is to run lead ads rather than just running ads for getting us messages or WhatsApp messages. If you can generate leads through Facebook, it would be much better, because in terms of conversion rates, it would go up, right? So to create a lead ad, you need a lead form, right? If you're going to the ads manager, of course you can get some you can create a lead form straight away, but then again, the best place to create a lead form is through the publishing tools. In the admin view, scroll down on your left hand bar where you find lead publishing tools, right? There you can go in. There you will find different options, but the one that you're looking for would be this one, lead ad forms. There you will find three options: forms library, draft lead forms, as well as the lead setup. So basically go for the main one, lead forms. There will be, then you'll be taken to this page where you can create a lead form and you can browse your library as well. And if you have any what you call draft lead forms, it will also be visible there. All right, so since we came here to make a lead form, I'll cover some basics as well as some advanced techniques to create a lead form so that the lead form conversion rate goes up, right? So these are things that nobody else will teach you in terms of the advanced techniques. Usually even Facebook advertisers, they usually don't know these things. They just run lead ads, but with experience and with conversations that I had with Facebook advertising gurus themselves, I found certain things that I'm using to run ads for Edulink, so that my conversion rates are higher than usual, right? So first of all, to create a lead form, obviously you need to go create a lead form. Now you have two options here, but the thing is, we haven't created any lead form beforehand, so it's not, even though it shows duplicate from existing form, it's not going to work now, right? So what we can do is, if you have, let's say, existing lead forms, you can always click this and select from the forms you have already, then you can duplicate that form, right? So what I do is, for basically the MBA programs, I'm not creating lead forms one by one. I duplicate my previous lead form, then I get the details from that, okay? So here you can create a lead form. So next, first of all, it's asking you to give a name, right? Giving the name, it's important so that you can always track your lead forms and what it's for, right? So we can simply say, because this is a test, I'll say test 1 lead form. All right, so that would be the name. So there are different what you call settings you can set here so that you get what you call better outputs, right? So one thing you can do is, by default, Facebook, or if you have Facebook advertisers that are third party to you, they would have this one selected, right? More volume. What this would do is, this would give a very easy way for anyone to send you a lead. Pretty much 1 or 2 clicks and the lead is sent to you, right? So that in a way creates problems. What happens is, our phones are usually not with us 100% of the time. If you have kids and all, you give your kids the phone to, play a game or something like that. All of a sudden they are on Facebook, they see an ad, they don't even know, they click it twice and the lead has been sent to you, right? So once a lead comes to you, what happens is people would contact you back and you'll be like, I didn't, give you, my information. Where did you get it? Then they would say, you have given it through a Facebook ad. It was, your child who has, accidentally touched it, right? So if you have higher volume, you will get more leads, of course, but then again, the lead quality would go down. So here, the next option is higher intent. Higher intent actually adds another step into the lead generation process so that they have to take one step additionally, right? So when you do this, you will have a review screen. So let's see, if you have more volume, one step less. So it says intro questions, privacy, completion. When you put to higher intent, a review screen comes up, right? So basically the review screen is this. You will have a slider to submit before the last one. You have a slider. So there you have to slide this for you to submit your information. This is one additional step that it's not, even if it was a button, you can accidentally press it. But now it's a slider. You have to make that effort to slide it from left to right. So the leads that come after you put higher intent, right? When you put it to higher intent, the quality of the lead goes up. And something else you can do is this is in the content section, but in the settings section, you can do something else here as well. So here you would have two options, restricted and open. So what happens in restricted one is only people who receive your ad delivery directly can submit this form. Let's say you tie it up with a nice video or a nice image. People would share it. So if it's restricted, people who share it after sharing the image, whoever, let's say Arva shares my post, whoever sees the post from Arva's share would not get the advertisement. They only see the picture. But if you have it put the setting to open, now anyone who sees that advertisement can share a lead for us. So usually what I do is I have it on open because our post at Edulink, it is shared by many people. On average, at least 10 people share our post. So what happens is that audience also can technically send us a lead if it's on open. These things you don't need to worry too much about, field names and tracking parameters. Don't worry too much. It really doesn't make a huge difference on changing these things. But two main settings you need to do is put this on open, the sharing option on open, and the form type to higher intent, right? Then intro. In the intro, there are two what you call picture options. First one is you upload an image directly for this lead form itself, if you have a picture here, it will come here. But you can also have the option of use the uploaded image. That means basically the one that you have for what you call the ad itself, right? Two options. One is uploaded image. If you upload an image, it will come here, or else you can use the one that you use in the ad. So what I usually do is I have it on the image that I upload for the advertisement itself, right? So I keep it on that. Then they say, let the people know why you should complete your form and give you the details. Rating, recommended. You can have it if you want, right? Headline is the one that would go here. So I'm not going to go into much details about, how to put text here and there, but the less text, the better. So I'll say get the best spices at the best rates. So it will show Christo Spice World, get the best spices at the best rates. Here you have, in the description, you have two options. Either you have a list or you have a paragraph. For us at Edulink, we have a list of, what you call USPs or unique selling points. I usually put it in a list, but then again, there are instances where I put it as a paragraph as well, right? Here you can put a small description of what would make, them give you the details. So let's say freshly ground. Freshly ground. Then you can say something nice one. Locally sourced. Locally sourced. Freshly ground spices of the highest quality at the lowest rates. Right? So it will come here. Now the next one is a very crucial step about the questions. Here you can have two types of questions are here, right? Custom questions as well as pre-fill questions. Here is the place where Arwa you need to focus on if you're running ads. Okay. Pre-fill questions are basically filled by Facebook itself based on details we have given Facebook themselves, right? When we register, we give a email. When somewhere down the line, we would have given a phone number. We would have given an address. We would have given, our marital status. We would have given our current employment status, our job role, our current workplace, all these things. We always, keep Facebook updated because that's our, main thing. Whenever we get a new job, first thing we do, we get the appointment letter from the new company. When we put the letter in our bag, first other thing we do is, update Facebook. I just got, to a new position at this new company, right? So all this information Facebook has. So that is used to give you the what you call in pre-fill answers, pre-fill questions, get pre-fill answers. So here you should say, let people know how the information you will collect will be used, right? Facebook is high on data like privacy. So they are asking for you to say why you're collecting the information. So you can say, we will contact you with the best rates. Okay. Here you can add or remove questions, but the thing is, for a lead ad, you should not get too much information as well as you need to get the enough information for you to do something, right? So how we add a question is, you press this add category. Here you can have contact fields is, where they have the contact detail. So email is already, in there, so it's disabled. You can get the phone number, you can get the street address, you can get the city, state, province, country, postal code, zip code, anything you have provided to Facebook in terms of contact information, it will be here. So usually you need the phone number to contact a person. Email not so important, but then again, if you are like us, when we are a education institute, some people ask us to send the brochures by email, so we need to get their email as well, right? So phone number is vital. We contact them on phone first of all, so we need the phone number. Remember, the problem with getting this pre-filled information is, as I said, when you're registering Facebook only, you would have given a email, you would have given a phone number. If you're not using this phone number now, or if you change your number, then it would be a problem, because the number that would go would be different. And the email, for me personally, I have a separate email for Facebook itself. I rarely use it. So if someone takes my lead and tries to contact me through email, that email would not be open for pretty much 6 months time, right? So by 6 months, that email would have gone far away. Okay. So other areas and other things you can collect are, because we have the name here, it's not giving us to get the name because it's here, full name is already here, so that's not giving us. Then you can have demographic questions, demographic, date of birth, you can get gender, you can get marital status, relationship status, military status, all these things if you have given, you can get. Work information, as I said, we always update our Facebook status. So job title, work phone number, if you have given, work email, if you have given, company name, usually you would have given your company name and the job title, easily can get it. National ID number, of course, it's not available in Sri Lanka, but there are countries where it is important for them to put the NIC number to register Facebook. So if you are in one of these countries, pretty much you will have given your details to this beforehand. Give me a second, I'm getting important call. Sorry about that. Okay, so basically these are the questions that you can get Facebook to pre-fill questions. But then again, how you can improve your lead quality is by adding a what you call a custom question, right? So these are the custom questions. There are different options when it comes to custom questions. You can have a multiple choice question, you can have a short question, you can have what you call a conditional question, as well as appointment request, right? So we'll start with the appointment request. When you open a appointment request, it will let people request for a date and time, right? So they can pretty much, whenever they are here, they can select the date as well as the select the time they would like to get an appointment with you, right? But then conditional questions is a bit tricky. You need to have the conditions already preset. So I've never used it because it's complex and it's a bit, what you call complex and useless to have a conditional question if it's a Facebook lead itself, right? The best two are multiple choice as well as short answer questions. These are the two that really makes a lead that go from good to better. Anyone have an idea of how many questions you should ask here? Custom questions. What would be the ideal number of questions to ask?
Not sure, but I think the lower the better, because I don't think everyone would go through the entire questionnaire.
So the lower the better is the usual correct answer, but in Facebook Arva, Facebook experts themselves say the best number of questions is 2, right? It's not 1, but 2. Why they say 2 is the best is, if you have 1, because now we are trying to filter out the real people who really want to get from you, buy from you, right? So what you want is what you said, time wasters, you want to drop them. Yes. Right? So how you can drop them in the lead itself is, if you give them certain things. Basically these are not questions, Arva. These are pretty much hoops. Okay. Right? So these are hoops you ask them to jump through before they give you the lead. Right. So if they are willing to jump through 2 hoops, that means all right, they are quite good to contact as a customer itself. If you can have, let's say, 5 questions and people would jump through all 5 hoops for you, that means pretty much you are guaranteed a very good lead. But then again, the number of leads would go down, because as you said, if you have a whole 20 question questionnaire, nobody will take the time to do it. But then again, if you could get 3 or 4 questions in, and if people really do come in, those leads are very good. But Facebook itself recommends us to have 2 questions as the best number of questions, because they have seen if it goes to 3, the number of leads drops, right? People don't want to answer 3 questions. Then again, if it's just 1 question or no questions at all, the quality of the lead goes down. So the equilibrium that they found is at 2 questions, and I've used this 2 question formula for the last few intakes, and from experience I can say it really works at 2 questions, because the last intakes, the lead quality has been really good. All right. So
it could be generalized questions also, rather than have it very specific to your brand as well, right? I mean, just so that you filter out,
Yes.
because sometimes people want
Oh.
a very different thing from you rather than what you might do.
Yeah. So it's kind of a two-way thing, Arva. For you, I would say have some specific questions, right? So if you have some specific questions there, you would know this person is really interested in going ahead, right?
Right.
So one question, on the top of my head, right? You could have a multiple choice question. What would be your what is your budget, right?
Okay.
Here you can say
You can filter out a lot of people then.
1,000 to 2,000, right? You can add it here. Now people will see. Right,
Can't hear you, Achinta.
hello?
Your voice is gone. Now back.
Hello.
Yeah, now better.
Right. Okay. So here you can say 1,000 to 2,000. Then you can have 2,000 to 3,000, right? Then you can add that as well. Mind you, we are putting these in what you call Christo's page, but then again, I'm filtering out for you, right? So then again, you can have something close to 50,000 to 60,000, right? So I'm guessing your jewelry is even more expensive.
No, my starting range goes as 3,500 onwards till whatever's ready in stock up to 80,000, something like that.
You filter out the budget itself, right?
Right.
So if people, when I'll show you the results of the leads as well, right? Because I'm not going to run through this, but I'll show you some leads that I generated for Edulink with the filters, right? So what happens is you can easily filter out, you can download the leads as an Excel, right? In the Excel, one column is, what they have given for the first question, right? What is your budget question? So if you have a lot of people who are saying, their budget is 1,000 to 2,000, you don't need to even call them, right?
Correct.
Because these are the bargain hunters, right? For your business, you're not into entertaining bargain hunters, right? So if you have a question like 50,000 to 60,000, right? And there are people there, then these are the high rollers. So you can upsell, or you can do a side sale based on information that you have already gathered.
Right.
So this is why it's important to have custom questions. And another question you might have a short answer question or a multiple choice. I don't know.
I think multiple choice is what people would prefer, because nobody's going to sit and type. I mean, even when we have these shared forms, like, people are like, we are doing a little research on some subject or whatever. They share these multiple forms. Yeah. So then when it's an MCQ thing, you still at least just click and then you're done. Whereas if you have to type, nobody literally bothers to type, because I get forwarded forms as well. Yeah. So I really don't bother.
So another question that's, on top of my head is, we can have a question is, what stone, right? What type of stone or stones, right? So you have, diamonds, as I said, pretty much the only one that I know, diamonds. Diamonds is spelled wrong. Diamonds. Then you have something called a ruby, right? Ruby.
Or you can give them as semi-precious or precious stone options,
Yeah. Up to you. When you are designing a lead form, you can pretty much have them jump through this hoop as well. So this one would come underneath the first question, what is your budget? Then what type of stone? So if someone clicks, let's say 2,000 to 3,000, pretty much where you start, but then again, he wants a diamond at 2,000, 3,000, that also, it's not going to work.
True.
Right? So filtered already. So for you, I would say, Arva, because you are in a very, what you call,
Niche
specific
market.
niche. Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have some niche specific questions, at least, try with two, right? Then try to add one more as well, right? Then you
Right.
can see which ad really works, right? Same
Hmm.
ad have two forms, right? You can
Okay.
run two ads simultaneously. I'll help you on the side if you want to, get it done, right?
Right.
So then what will happen is you will see whether the two question ad performs better in terms, you have to look at from the end-to-end perspective, right? How much money you are spending on it, it might be different also, right?
Right.
Then at the end, how many leads you got from, let's say, ad 1, and how many leads you got from ad 2, right? Then how many of these leads actually converted into
Sale.
sales, right? Because at the end of the day, we don't want to get more leads, we want to get more customers. Getting more leads is just a part of the process, right?
Yeah.
Because leads won't fill up your tummy, sales will only fill up your tummy, right?
Definitely.
So we need to look at, okay, the end result, how many people converted. So it has a direct correlation with, how many questions you had in the form. And let's say, for example, if Facebook is correct also, and two question lead form gave you more clients, obviously move forward with the two question format. But if you find that three questions seems to be the one that really filters out the bargain hunters and all these, nonsense scholars, right? Then you can try three. Then you can even add a fourth question and see if you can filter it out even more,
Hmm.
right? So let Facebook do bulk of the work for you. That's how you make use of Facebook as a, what you call, advertising. People use it just for, advertising. Use it, Facebook, to do some of the work for you as well.
Right.
So these, let's say we have two questions. Basically, these are the two questions that we want. Then we'll have to go into privacy, where you'll have to link. Usually you can't skip this page, right? What they ask is, because you will be collecting customer information, you need to include a link to your company's privacy policy. Your link will appear with the Facebook default, one. I'm pretty sure you can't skip this process. You will have to have a document, a link to a document which has some sort of privacy there. So what I usually do is I send it to the Edulink about us section. So I'll just put it there for this purpose. Right. Okay. So adding a custom disclaim, all these things up to you. Usually you don't need. No? Review screen is where you get to check if the information that you have given, the personal information that Facebook retrieves from your data itself, if it's correct or not, you can check from here. And then final part is completion. Here you can send them to, if you have a website, you have three options. One is, view website, download if you have a brochure, or you can call the business itself. You can put your number. One thing you can do is, basically send them to your website if you have a website. These things you can change. And if you have a website, put your link here and you can publish it, right? So I'll put Edulink here and I'll click publish. When you publish, your lead form will be published. Right? So it will come here. If I refresh. So if I refresh, sorry, click the wrong thing. Lead forms. This is the lead form that we created just now. So next is I'll show you. Now we should be able to do one thing. Since we created the lead form, we should be able to get leads here. It's not showing us now. Right. So you'll usually have an option to get leads here, right? All right, so let's move into. Okay. Next is let's look at how we can create ads. So here, on the left hand side, you have the ad center. When you come here, you can create a summary of your basic ads would be here. Since we haven't created anything, we don't have anything here. So when you press create ad, right, then either you can boost a post, same as what we did before, or you can create a new ad. And you have this option called getting started with Facebook automated ads. The conversion rates on automated ads is very low, so might as well not even look at these things. Best thing is create a new ad. Still also not getting leads. Why is that? All right, here. When you create that, these things what we had earlier are there, and now we have what you call get more leads. This is the one that really works for a business, because you can get people to come into you and give you their details so that you can convert them later on, as well as once you have this, you have a list of details of the people. You can put them into a emailing list, and you can inform them about what you have as well, right? So we'll click that. Then the ad itself changes a bit, right? Same ad, now it says apply now. So description, all these things, basically same. Headline you'll have to put, let's say, best spices at the best rates. This. Okay, so there's a credit, what you call a character limit. So you'll have to just put it like this: best price, best rates. So the headline comes here. Right? In the button here, you can have different things, but the thing is, you have to work with what you are selling with the corresponding one. Now, if you are trying to sell spices, apply now would be a wrong button to have, right? So here you will have to select from learn more, get code, sign up, subscribe. Sometimes you will have buy now option as well, right? So apply now is there, sign up not so much. You can even say learn more or get code. Let's say we put learn more. So people who would click it would see your what you call lead form. Okay. There you connect the lead form. So here after that you can create the form. Here you should have your custom form already. Seems like it's not. So basically you can create a custom form here, but usually your form should be here already. It has not refreshed correctly. Seems like I'm stuck. All right. So here also you can create the form. Right? You can add questions, short answer questions, all these things. I don't know why it's not showing your custom forms already. But then again, you can create a lead form and you can promote it. When you promote it, you will get certain the leads who come to you, right? So what I'll show you next is quickly go to So now I am at the Edulink page. Now what will happen is, for all the lead forms that we've run, so each one you can see what I have asked them to give. Let's look at the event that we're having on the 4th. So that one, basic details about the person, pre-fill questions. Then I've asked them to, these are the two hoops that I had, the two questions, but these are the two hoops that I had. So I've asked them, are you an entrepreneur already or business owner? I've given them, yes, I am, or not at the moment, but I want to become one. Right? Drop down question. And the other one is, Dr. Chatura himself asked whether if the other people who are participating want other topics to be covered. So I've asked them, if you have a special topic you want to cover, put it there. Right? It's a short answer question. So what happens when you have this is, people will go through that, and basically you have to, once you run that, you will have to come here, lead at forms, form library. Then you will see now there are lead count 71 and there's 0 expired. Whatever leads you get on Facebook, it will stay on the Facebook platform for exactly 90 days. Right? Anything beyond 90 days will be deleted automatically. Right? Not, let's say, a lead generated on 5th November 2021 will stay in the system till 21 November, 21 December, 21 January, 21 February. Pretty much 90 days. If it's 21 February, it will vanish after 90 days. So you'll need to download these things. Right? So how you download is, here you have a small button you can click, you can download. So Facebook has a very, what you call, intelligent system where it can identify from the last date and time you downloaded the leads to the current place, how many new leads have come in, right? So here we have not run this ad for quite some time and we've downloaded all the leads up to now. So it's not showing any, it says 0 new leads since the last download on 29th August 2021 at 7:23. See how intelligent the system is, right? Then, of course, I have another option, only download leads for a specific date range. Here, the maximum is, as you can imagine, 90 days. But then again, I can ask for, let's say, the last 14 days, right? So last 14 days, there are 37 leads. So if I download it, it's asking CSV or an Excel file. So the best thing is download it an Excel file. Once you open it, you will see certain things. Let me show this. Right. So this is the lead form that we downloaded just now. Right? So there are certain columns that you will need, as well as certain columns that makes no sense to you as well. So likewise, the ID, the first column is the ID. This is the lead ID. It is a unique ID given by Facebook to all the leads that are generated. And even though they say created time, the next column is the created date, ad ID and the ad name, ad set ID, ad set name, campaign ID, campaign names, all will be there. Form ID, the one that you use, the form name will be there. Then they will say one thing that you will make use is organic column. Here it will say false or true. So it's saying whether it was an organic lead or a paid lead. How they say it's a paid lead is the column for is organic will be false if it's a, what you call, a paid lead. But here you can see this one, it's quite different from the other lead because it's not having all of these, right? So that is basically a lead that was generated on a free basis because it was an organic lead, because we shared it as an open form, right? So here it will say, is organic true? Okay. Then these are the main part where you can make use of it. So this is the first question that I asked, whether he or she is a entrepreneur already. So people have, given responses accordingly. Then people have asked for new topics. Some people have said no other things they want. Then people have asked for job costing and post cost analysis, avoiding unwanted budgets, product costing, project appraisal, break even point. So these are different topics that they want Chakra to cover. So then we'll look at the main things that you want. So there's the name is there, email is there, phone is there, company name and city. I've just asked because I felt for us to get a good idea of who will be coming for the event. I just asked these details. Depending on what you want, you can either add or drop these things. That is completely up to you, right? So once you get the leads, only thing is you need to contact them immediately, right? So I would say when Siddharth gave you the lead, probably you don't know if he has given in the middle of the night, but then again, every day morning, go to lead forms, download, if you're running it, download the new leads. Then straight away call these people and get them on board, or you can filter these ones and see if they are really customers or not. You can also, because it's Excel, basic Excel things you can do, right? Basically, if you want only entrepreneurs, you can select here who are entrepreneurs and call them only. Right? That is up to you. Right, that is pretty much running lead ads and lead forms. Any questions on this? Any questions?
Not at the moment. I think till I put it to practical use, I won't be able to come up with something.
Yes, these things, it's pretty much, you'll have to, find the best formula for yourself by putting it to practice. If you're just here to listen to a lecture and, see all these things, it's not going to make any difference, because unless you really get your hands dirty with the platforms, you might have to, spend the $5-10 initially, waste of, $5-10, but then again, you will fine tune based on your specific company and how it will be best of use, right? Certain things that I use for Edulink might not work for other Facebook pages, because we are into the private higher education market. Your niche might be different, right? So based on your niches, you'll have to see how best you can go forward with these things. As I said, Darwa, one thing you could do is specifically try 2-question forms, 3-question forms, 4-question forms. Do it with the same what you call advertisement. So it's not to do with the adverts difference, but it's all to do with the lead forms difference that's making the difference, right? So that's something you could try. All right.
I also wanted to check now with this lead generation forms and all, normally how much would they charge us? Like,
that of course depends, Arvai. Sometimes I get leads less as 0.5 right?
Okay.
Sometimes it goes up to $20, right? As I said,
Okay.
it depends on the number of impressions they show before they get a lead, a
Right.
person to successfully give you a lead, as well as it depends on the market you're in. For now, the September intake was going on now, right? For us, September is one of the main intakes. For
Right.
all the private higher education institutes, September is a a main intake. So everyone is on Facebook at the moment, because other forms of marketing is not viable now. You don't have newspapers running around so much. People are not reading newspapers, right? So newspaper ads have been rendered obsolete and no point, right? So everyone is on Facebook trying to run the ads for the September intake. So everyone is on the same market, different players, and Facebook is having a good time with educational ads for this time, right? So that naturally what will happen is advertising per ad price goes up, per lead cost goes up, just because it's the time of the year where everyone is marketing their MBAs and all their degree programs. But if you delay your ads by, let's say we delay it till November, for the same ad, the price per lead might go down, because there are not so much competition at that time, right? So there are different metrics, affecting cost per lead. But then again, the best thing is to try these out, because at the end of the day, let's say you spend $10 on a lead. $10, huh? That's pretty much 2,000 rupees on a lead. But then again, if that person converts into a sale of 60,000, if he becomes a high roller, obviously that lead is worth it. But if it doesn't work out, or if it turns out only to be let's say a 2,500 necklace, that lead was not worth it, right? But for that to be realized, you need to run some ads, get some leads, and convert them and see.
Yeah, that's true. It's more of a risk that you're taking, but I mean, if you don't have a store or anything, it's fully worth, because it's a certain risk, it's a minimal risk to take, right?
Compare advertising cost on Facebook, it's really cheap compared to other forms, Arva. If you take
Yeah.
LinkedIn leads, it's very costly. For example, if we generate a lead on Facebook for $1, the same ad would be, if we send run the same ad on LinkedIn, a lead on LinkedIn would be $10,
Okay.
right? Then if we try to run the same ad, let's say on a newspaper, pretty much half a page,
Much higher.
200,000, right? So for us, 200,000 rupees on a advertisement on a like a normal newspaper is waste of money,
True.
right? So compared to other marketing costs, Facebook marketing is very cheap.
No, no, definitely, definitely.
Yeah. Anyways, if you're not having a physical store, you really need to ramp up your what you call other store on Facebook or Instagram, whatever. That would be your only place where people would see it, right? So
But this Facebook and Instagram store that is there, do you have to be like registered on Shopify or something for that? Or you can anyways have it?
you don't need a Shopify account to have a what you call Facebook
Hello?
page. But then again, if you are trying to do the sales on Facebook itself, as I said last week, Arva, if the backend is also there, if you want to shop on Facebook, like if you have to have a shop on Facebook, a backend needs to be connected. The card payment needs to be connected. For that, of course, a
You
Shopify
need,
account needs to be there.
okay.
I haven't gone into it much, but I know that
Right.
I've actually looked
No,
into it once.
recently I've seen a lot of these happening or rather popping up.
So that's why I thought like, how does it work? Because is it worth getting into? Because sometimes what happens, and these are not things that you can return easily also. And to ship it out also, you can't ship out jewelry out of Lanka, Sri Lanka like easily. There's a whole format. So after checking into all that, it's not really feasible as such.
That's one thing you have to always do. If you're trying to go into a, let's say, a new format or new thing, always do that cost benefit analysis, right? Cost and benefit. If it's worth it, try it. And if the initial costing makes it unfeasible, then you should not go into it, right? So
Okay, got it.
pretty simple maths. Because if
No,
it's
but
a
sometimes,
Shopify
people
account,
just say, "Oh, you should try this. You should try this." People just have a way of saying it, but they don't realize like there are so many little things you need to look into whether it's going to work out as such. The practical aspect people don't study much. So
just go into all these things, right?
hmm,
If you take Shopify, for example, basic account is $29. Just for new
yes,
e-commerce businesses with all, what's there? It's not showing. So basically, a Shopify account is $29 per month, right?
hmm,
So the basic one, the starting
yes,
one, that's pretty much $30. Multiply that by 220. It's about 6,600 rupees per month to have a Shopify store,
hmm,
right? So you could always, because now things have, going into, uh, whole what you call online situation. Because of now, might as well try it, because you will have a 14-day trial period on this for the
right,
Shopify account, right? So if you can set up the store in one day, you will have 13 days of free business,
hmm,
right? Then again, whether you keep it or not, because you know whether how easy it is to ship these things out, and get if it needs to be returned, how complex it is, all these things only, right?
yeah.
So you'll have to see if it's worth it, because if you don't have physical store also, I would say at least have a online store,
No,
right?
no,
Then
I
again,
have a physical store and I am
yeah.
on two websites. So, in fact, one website like that whoweare.lk, I'm there since last year, December. And now, just 3 weeks ago, I started this candy based website called sunonline.lk. So, these two have started. Plus, I am having a physical store where I retail at Stratford Avenue. So, that's another thing. And yeah, so far it's okay because I can't handle more than this, at the moment.
So these two online stores,
So,
do you get business? Two online stores, do you get business?
I can't hear you, Achinta.
Through the online stores, do you get business?
Yeah, like Hoovia.lk, yes, I've sold quite a few items, in fact, since last year. And not very cheap items, also quite like 20,000 rupee worth, those kind of margins as well, like that price range.
Hmm.
So that was good. The Sun Online thing, since it has just started, I think it'll take some time to pick up.
Alright. So what is the charge that you have to pay monthly on these platforms?
No, so they charge a percentage on the
Okay.
product sold.
Percentage of the sale.
Yes. So that's how it is. And yeah, the documentation and all is also like they have a form to fill and all that, like legal, this things, contracts basically, and that's about it.
Okay.
So the goods are also with me. When an order is confirmed, only I have to dispatch it, and they have the delivery sorted out. So it's all island at the moment.
Mhm.
So yeah.
Oh, right. That's brilliant.
Hmm.
So cash on delivery is provided by them, right?
Yes.
All right. So that's a good
Most
format.
likely the cash is cash on delivery, and they have the bank transfer thing as well. Mostly it's going via the bank transfer method only, but cash on delivery is also being provided.
All right. So that's a pretty good platform to have it. It's just a like percentage of what's going out, right? So
Yeah.
obviously you might be charging a bit more because of that. Then if it's sold,
No,
then of
but
course.
the thing is, I'm keeping my prices the same throughout. So anywhere, like even if it's at the physical store or at these places, nobody will find any price difference as such. I'm keeping it the same, so that there's uniformity, and no store is going to feel like, oh, she's selling it cheaper here and here it's more expensive. And each place has a different set of items, and all of these are one-off pieces. So once those are sold, I'm not repeating those basically.
Okay, so if it's a one-off piece, right?
Yeah, all one-off pieces.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
the
do
thing is,
multiples actually.
all right, let's have a call offline about this. How you can price these things, right? All right. So anyone else having any questions, because we need to wind up now. All right. So if there are no questions, let's wind up today's session. All right. Yep. That's the end of today's session then. All right.
Thank you, sir. See you.
Have a nice day. Stay safe.
You too.